you right wing or left wing?
I really like buffalo wings.
Hi, and welcome back to Through the Muck and the Mire. I'm your host, David Hollifield. Hopefully you enjoyed the first segment of me and Jim from Ignore the Rant's interview. It was like 2.5 hours long, so I'm cutting it up into some segments for you and make it a little easier to digest. This segment is specifically about the Biden administration and the Supreme Court weighing in on warrantless searches. In this case specifically, the Caniglia v. Strom case, if you want to look it up, has to do with a warrantless search and seizure of weapons, which obviously is going to be very relevant with new weapons legislation coming out. So, to my knowledge, the Supreme Court has heard the oral arguments, but they haven't actually decided on the case yet. So anyways, here's me and Jim talking about that. And then the next two segments will also be shorter segments like this. One is going to be specifically on Derek Chauvin trial, and then the last one is basically just the end of our long rant. So it'll just be just a rant. So anyways, enjoy. Yeah, I can see that. Well, let me try to share my screen real quick, see if this works.
Okie doke. Oh, there it is. Ah, yes.
Biden administration urges the Supreme Court to let police enter homes without warrant and seize guns. And this is the Caniglia versus Strom case. I don't know if it said that. Trying to find the most relevant part of it. I don't know why they're advertising female swimsuits on here.
Well, that's who's going to come kick your door down. It's going to be confusing to everybody. No, yeah. It's just funny to me after the year that we just had last year. You know, a big part of that was fighting no-knock raids. One that ran.
This isn't. Sorry to cut you off. This is actually like an updated version of it that I haven't even read yet. So they did the oral arguments last Wednesday, I think, and then so I think this is from like last Sunday, or like not this past Wednesday, like 2 days ago, but like prior week, and then this article is from last Sunday, I think, or no, last Friday.
It really bums me out to see Biden try to out Trump with this whole like fuck due process talk. It's like, hey man, that was the orange man gig. You can't out orange the orange man, but he's trying.
Yeah, no, this shit is ridiculous, man. And it's like, so you brought up like how there's, basically the coverage is not the same. Mm-hmm. That's a multifaceted topic in its own. Of course, like obviously fucking liberal media sources are not going to be, so
critical.
Did
you see the press conference and every reporter in there was pre-approved and they're like, we think you're doing a great job, Joe.
No, I don't watch any. I honestly I don't even watch news. Like I don't watch it. I like if I hear about something or if I want to look up a specific topic, I'll go looking for it, but I don't watch news.
I do for the torture because I'm full of white rage and self-hatred.
Yeah. No, I mean like the Officer Chauvin or whatever the fuck his name is case has been being streamed, so I'll like tune into that for a little bit. But like in general, I'm not watching like press conferences and stuff like that. But this this case, this Caniglia case, do you know the facts of it? So
wait, real quick. Let me see if I know. We'll do a
you're gonna get
know if I'm yeah.
Okay.
Is this the one where it was a married couple? They had an argument. Husband came out, laid the gun on the table, and said, "If you're so fed up with me, then just kill me." And then, like, long story short, he went to the hospital. Am I getting it? Am I close?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay, I'll let you tell it though, because you might actually know the details, and I just know the snapshots.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. That's the extent of my knowledge too. Is that? I mean they got into argument, and he brought out his gun and laid it on the table and was like, "Why don't you just get it over with, kill me now," or something like that. So they continue to argue. She leaves the house, comes back. I think she came back like the next day or whatever, and calls the cops and is like, I want you to like, I don't know if they escorted her to her house or if they met her there or what, but she was like, I think my husband's suicidal. And he is like, this is paraphrased off of the articles that I read. So I don't know the exact facts. So, don't hang me if I fucking got something wrong here, but
white people are out of the hanging business, Dave. You're good now. We let that go decades ago.
Allegedly. But fucking he says basically like my mental health isn't your fucking business. Leave me alone. That's not what he really said, but that's my version of it, because fuck the
what I heard was that he went to a hospital or something like that.
Yeah, no, so he told them originally, he was like, I'm fine, leave me alone. And they're like, basically begged him to go get evaluated. And he was like, he resisted them by saying like, this is none of your business, I'm fine. And then eventually he was like, all right, I will go get a mental evaluation for you. Promise me that you are not going to take my weapons from me.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, okay, we won't. So he was like, I do not consent to a search of my house. I do not consent to a seizure of my weapons.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves, and they talk to his wife, and they're like, hey, by the way, your husband said that we could search the house and take his guns.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, shit, if he said it, then yeah, go ahead.
And then she showed him exactly, hey, here's the gun.
She brought him. She brought him to the guns, and they took that shit.
Yep.
And so that's a warrantless search and seizure. They only got consent from one person. And if you're married, like, I don't know the exact wording of it, but basically if there's multiple people that live in a house that are adults, you have to get consent from each adult to search the house or to search specific rooms of houses and stuff like that. Like when my parents owned the house and were trying to get cops to come search my brother's bedroom for meth, they were literally like, sorry, we can't just go into his bedroom because you told us to. Like, he's an adult. We have to get his consent too. And so it's just like their defense right now is called the community caretaking exception. And that exception was originally created for vehicle inventory searches. When, let's say, you get arrested for your DUI, nobody can pick you up or take your car off the road. Mm-hmm. If they have to impound your car, they can do like a community caretaking seizure of your vehicle to get it off the roadway, and they impound it. And then because they have to impound it in their lot for safety, they have to search the vehicle and inventory what's in it. That's not supposed to be a seizure or a search for like criminal shit. That's just supposed to be like, hey, we got to take care of your car because it's on the fucking roadway. And
unless we found $1,000 in cash, and then whoops.
Yeah, of course. And that absolutely does get abused as well. Yeah. But it was literally never intended to be used for houses. And from what I did read of part of the oral arguments, they brought like the defense attorneys brought that up, or not the defense attorney, it was the prosecution, or I can't remember. The lawyers that are representing the old man whose guns were taken from him said when this specific exception was brought up, it was actually explicitly like separated by like, this is different because it's a car on the side of the road. It's not the same thing as a warrantless search of a house. And now these cops are trying to say, no, it's a community caretaking. We can do a warrantless search and seizure of your home.
Yeah, because if a car is an extension of your home, obviously it works upstream. I just hope that the cops use the Dave Chappelle defense and they just go, I didn't know I couldn't do that. See how that plays out.
Yeah. Well, a good thing though, well, I don't know. I have a feeling it's actually going to work out like the right way. Mainly because, well, for a couple of reasons. But even the liberals on the court are pretty, from what I read today, I don't know if you saw that post about the Fourth Amendment from my cybersecurity class, but the reading for today for cybersecurity was like strictly Fourth Amendment. And they relayed that to like, obviously cyber, like, cell phone data and stuff like that. And, how does the Fourth Amendment transfer to like our digital information and stuff like that. But it was a very thorough write-up of the Fourth Amendment and how the Supreme Court has been ruling on it. And the most recent cases under the current Supreme Court have been very like pro citizens and have especially like even with data stuff like that. Even Sotomayor has been like, yeah, you need to either have a warrant. There's plenty of exceptions already that exist for warrants. So if it falls under like an emergency exception, or they consented to the search, or countless other exceptions, then those are the times that you don't need a warrant. But you need a warrant, you got to get a warrant. So
yeah.
it looks like it might be good.
It fucking better be, because if you're seizing personal property, the rights should overwhelmingly be on the citizen side, and that should not even be questionable or up for debate. Obviously, yeah, there's circumstantial stuff that could be brought up, but I'm not creative enough to think of one where it's like, oh yeah, no, the state totally has all the
yeah, no, it's like reasonableness is part of the Fourth Amendment. It's unreasonable searches and seizures. So if it's like, that's why exigent circumstances is an exception for a warrantless search. That's like a fucking building is burning, or an active shooter runs into a house. They can fucking go into that house and try to get the guy if they want to, or something extreme like that. It's not just like, well, we feel like you might be suicidal or something, so we're not gonna go to a judge with evidence of probable cause or anything like that. We're just gonna do what we want and call it community caretaking.
Yeah.
And what the attorney brought up, which I thought was a fantastic point, and probably the best fucking point that you can make, is that their argument for community caretaking is that it's like public health and potential criminal activity or something like that. And he was like, that's literally all of the police's job is like dealing with public health, public safety, and criminal activity. So if we're going to boil it down to, you can have a warrantless search for community caretaking anytime you see a public health incident or criminal, possible criminal activity or something like that, then you literally have just eviscerated the Fourth Amendment. So
yeah, because when everything's left up to interpretation, it's all about how good of an argument are you able to make and how many people can you convince. And that's the terrifying thing about, certain people having that level of power that don't share the same values as you do, because they can do some really terribly fucked up things with it. And that's why I think it's very important for people to be as educated as they can be about the issues. Like, I'll never know everything about any one thing, but I want to know as much as I can, so that I won't just blindly go along with, oh, that guy made a good argument, and I think, and just being like, well, there's this whole thing over here that prevents them from being able to do what they just convince you that they can do. I think that the benefit to knowing what the fuck is going on and having a gauge on a lot of this stuff, I think is important. And I think it's inherently beneficial to those that are interested enough to find out things like this. And you go into law school is forcing you to take a look at things in manners that I never would be able to. I'm just not that smart, but I find it vastly interesting. A lot of the stuff that the way that you perceive things from a legal or technical aspect about the legality of issues. I look at things more of a cultural and societal breakdown, but I don't have any legal, oh, well, in this case, they already established this, and because of X, you can't do Y, therefore Z should never be a thing. I'm more of a, can't we all just agree that this is all pretty fucked up?
Yeah.
There's a footnote somewhere, but I lost it.
Yeah. No, and I feel that too. Like, I mean, it all boils down to that for me. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is stupid. This is terrible. We all know this is wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is helpful and pretty cool to have, like, the extra knowledge of how the history of it is unfolded and how courts how courts actually listen to the legal arguments of it and all that crap.